What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Conversation Piece, your place to discover the hidden stories of Indianapolis. My name is Patrick Armstrong. I am your host, and this is The Open Door, a monthly series where we literally open the studio door and sit down with community members from the city to talk about whatever is on their hearts. If you want to learn more, you're interested in participating, head to conversationpiecepod.com and click the open door on the top bar. And last but not least, shout out to Life in Indy and the team over there for sponsoring this series. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. My guest today is Leslie Bailey. Leslie, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
100%. I just got to shout out Leslie, and I also have to shout out Sarah Jessica Harker. We had a last minute cancellation, totally fine, happens all the time. And Sarah literally came through with about 30 recommendations, but Leslie was at the top of the list, and Leslie just happened to be available. So thank you for doing this on such short notice.
Absolutely.
For folks that are listening or watching right now who don't know who you are, do you mind sharing just a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah. So my name's Leslie Bailey. I am the co-founder and CEO of Indie Maven and Maven Space. I'm a journalist by trade and now I guess turned entrepreneur. I still do some of the journalism thing, but
sure.
Yeah.
All right. And because we didn't have a lot of time to connect beforehand, what are you here to talk about today? What's on your heart at the moment?
So what's on my heart? It's a little heavy, but also really exciting. I have made the decision to close Maven Space, which was my second business. So our last day is going to be March 31st. We were originally going to relocate to a building in Nora, but we just came to a point with that build out that wasn't going to make it plausible. And of course I could have gone and I guess looked for another location. But at that point, I just felt like it was maybe time to focus back on what I really love to do, which is Indie Maven. And so I feel like I now have a second opportunity to do that. And I think that work's important because what's really on my heart is just that women need this now more than ever, I think.
Sure.
And so just rethinking how we can still continue to provide content and community in a way that doesn't also weigh me down as a person.
Yeah.
Which it has in the last couple of years.
Sure. I think when you go from like editorial and journalism to like holding space physically for people, like that it ends up in being a lot. As much of the joy and excitement from an opening can sustain you for a while. Like literally holding physical space, I think is really difficult. So
like 15,000 square feet.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a lot of space.
Yeah.
That's a lot of space
Physically,
to hold.
it was a lot of space.
Yeah. And I was very fortunate, privileged to go just down the street here on Capitol and attend a couple of events in Maven Space and have some actually really important meetings in that space. And, and it was, what I really loved about it was this sense of community. It's the year of community on the show. And what can you speak on as, we come to a end point. What has that community kind of meant to you in facilitating that physical space for women specifically to be able to gather here in the city?
When you announce something like that, and Instagram is my platform of choice mainly, and so seeing the comments come through and the DMs of just like how that actually changed people's lives, that space, that truly made it all worth it. I mean, I don't love being several $100,000 worth in debt right now. That's not my favorite part, but what is amazing and almost feels worth it is just hearing like this changed the face of my business. This changed the way I did like the networking, the communications, the like relationships that developed as a result of being able to have that physical space were incredible. And I'm so proud of that. And not just me. I mean, we had a whole team of people that made that happen. And I'm really, as much as I sit here like, oh my gosh, this is terrifying, I'm also so grateful for that experience.
Yeah. Well, you built, like I said, a community of people. And even if you don't, for whatever reason, know every single person individually, like when the comments come in, when the DMs come in, it shows that you have a network of people that are also here to catch you and like what as you go through this situation, because they're all business owners too. They all work and have these lives that they lead, and like, yes, this is a space that you held for them. And it's like, okay, we get it. Like when you have debts and you have things that you need to happen and when people don't want to collaborate maybe in the ways that we hope that they would, or things don't work out that way, it helps to have that support system to be able to fall into if that's the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, opening and closing a business will definitely tell you who your friends are.
For sure. I appreciate you coming on and wanting to talk about this, because I think this is the hard part of business that people don't talk about. And you talked about people talk about opening in public. They don't talk very much about having to close publicly. Yeah. Was there anything that was like prompted that decision to be like, I'm going to be very open about this instead of kind of holding it to myself?
For lack of a better phrase, I think that's always been my personal brand. When I was a reporter at the Indianapolis Star, I talked about really personal things. So I feel like my whole career has been sort of wearing my heart on my sleeve and saying what I think. So it almost felt a little inauthentic to be doing it behind the scenes.
Sure.
And it was also just really lonely. Like, and I'm thinking of other people who I've seen recently shut down their businesses. And I don't know, they may have had a huge network of people that they were talking to about it. But I just thought, I wonder if they were as lonely as I have been making this decision. And then when I saw these comments come through, I'm like, well, I don't have to be lonely. This is a choice, right? To do this behind the scenes. And I don't know, everybody doesn't need to know every detail, but there's also like, when I first made the decision, which was just 3 weeks ago, I was like Googling like how to close a business. There's so many resources for how to start a business. Yeah. And it's just like bankruptcy or not. Like, there's not a lot of other, if that's not the route that you're taking, there's not a lot of resources out there. So I think that, and just to know that it's okay. And I think especially for women to know it's okay. And that we see like, the men making billions of dollars in the world did not lose as much sleep over going bankrupt, or I'm not going back, but like, or losing their business or whatever route they decided to take to close a business. I guarantee it didn't hit them in the same way that it hits a small woman-owned business.
100%.
So I want to normalize it a little bit, right? And if you are going to be an entrepreneur and you're going to take those risks, like not everything is going to be a hit. And that's really hard for like eldest daughter, high achieving type A, right?
For sure.
We want everything to succeed. So
so like you said, not a lot of resource for how do you end a thing. Is there, and as you like kind of model for folks, for women specifically, how this might have to play out, should they have to go through it like that? Is there anything that you found that's been specifically helpful, I don't know, in this short period of time that you've been able to like lean on? It's like, okay, this is something that's helped me that I didn't know about before.
I think it's who you align yourself to begin with.
Okay.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense.
So, for example, I took on a loan with First Internet Bank. They were a wonderful partner to help me get started as I was planning to do this relocation. And they've been a wonderful partner as I'm figuring out how to undo this too. And so I think had I not been thoughtful about who I started with, this could look very differently.
Yeah.
So I think that it is about what you start when you start the business and who you align yourself with. Because if, we hope everything's going to go great, in which case, yay, everybody's happy. But it's like, kind of like who's going to be the friend that bails you out of jail, kind of metaphor thing. Like who's going to be there when things aren't great? And are they going to treat you the same way with the same respect and the same, decency and things that you would hope for in a partner or a collaborator. So I think just being thoughtful early on and also being really quick to cut ties when it feels like that's not going to be the case.
You're not just grasping, like you're like, okay, I can let this go. Like, let's get out of here and move on from whatever.
Yeah. And I think just being a little more confident and like you have more power than you think. It's really easy when we get in these situations to just think that we don't hold any power. We don't know what we're doing. Everybody else holds the cards. And it's like, that's the worst time to just relinquish any control, right? As hard as it is, because you kind of just want to just be like.
Well, especially when there's few resources out there to support you, it does feel probably like there is no control. I don't have control over this. we had Matt Hadley on, and he said something about one of the things that he heard from a brand building workshop was if you were going to jail or something, if it's like your last day, do you have 10 people that you could call that would be there for you? And if you don't have those 10 people, like, can you find those 10 people? And I think that's kind of what you're speaking to, is this, like, you had this circle that you could reach out to and kind of call on while you're going through this. And unfortunately, like, a lot of people don't have that, and maybe for whatever reason haven't had to think about that. And so I think I appreciate you sharing that, because I think it just, like, ties community together to know that, like, okay, there are these folks who intentionally build circles, and then that's how they can kind of get through a really difficult period. This is coming out, I think, you said official close on the 31st. So like 3 days before.
Okay.
What does, for what you can share, like, these final kind of weeks look like for you, or just as a business owner, to finish this out?
Yeah. I mean, right now it's just a process of selling stuff. Because I like to make everything fun. We're having a sip and shop sale on the 29th on Saturday, right before we close. So we're selling a lot of stuff, just decor and books and all of the things that we've amassed over 3 years. Yeah. I said 2 years the other day, and one of my community managers like, it's been 3. So doing that, but we're going to have cocktails and just make it a party. And then actually we have a real party, which I cannot think of a better way to go out. So on our last day, March 31st, me and I would say there's probably a dozen women now listed as co-hosts for an event that we are hosting alongside Free Press Indiana and the Women's Fund. It's a fundraiser to try and create a role for a reporter that would specifically cover women and girls issues in the state of Indiana. And so that's our very last event, is this fundraiser for this position that we hope to obviously get enough funds for to make happen, because again, this is something that's really needed in our state. And so I truly can't think of a better last hurrah than for a cause like that. So I'm really excited.
Well, I feel like it feels like a full circle, especially because you're like working journalism, but it's almost like not even a circle. It's like, it's a continuation. Like, this is a point. It's like, okay, Maven Space might be the close, but we're building out of it. Like, there is growth from here. It's not an end. It's the beginning for something else.
And to continue on with Indie Maven and have an outlet for storytelling that I hope we will then be able to include that individual's work and shine a light on what is happening to girls and women in this state. For better or worse, it is all kind of connected. So again, I can't think of a better last hurrah.
I love it. Is that going to be an open event for the public that can attend? Ticketed event? Can we post
there's no registration, but I have an email address that people can reach out to if they're interested in attending.
Okay, for sure. Well, if you don't mind, we'll share it if people want to come out. And then if you are interested, go out and let's make this thing a reality.
Yeah.
So you're being able to now fully invest back into Indie Maven, maybe not exactly what you were expecting to do, and you've talked about it as like an opportunity, kind of an exciting opportunity to get back to the roots of it all. What does it look like to balance that with kind of a closure? And are you able to start fully investing in that now, or do you have to kind of like prioritize as you kind of move through the last few weeks?
I mean, I have an amazing community manager, Lily, at Maven Space, who's just basically handling all of the things that need to be done.
Shout out, Lily.
Yes, shout out to Lily. So I'm slowly kind of dipping my toes back into Indie Maven, but there's been a great team over there that's been running that. Stephanie on our team has been incredible, and Rachel. So they're kind of taking care of things, and it's like I'm moving my way into that. What's been awesome is I'm also a mom. I've got little kids, so I've got a 4-year-old that's home on spring break, and then a 15-year-old that will be in town from Colorado on spring break next week, and then a 7-year-old on his spring break the following week. So to navigate all of this, there's a lot. But really, I'm thankful for having a bit of breathing room.
Yeah.
And then I'll really, after that third spring break, hit the ground running.
Sure, but at least you have now like kind of 3 weeks of, like you said, breathing room. Aside from hanging out with your kids, like you have big plans. Like, are you gonna take them anywhere? You're just gonna be like, let's hang out.
Oh no, we're doing a real cheap staycation situation.
I'm here for it. I have a 1-year-old now, and
Nice.
I'm like, what are the cheapest possible vacations we can go
They
on?
don't remember things till like after 3 anyway, so it's fine.
For sure. Well, I want to ask you this then. We've had this conversation now recently a couple times about the myth of the work-life balance, especially knowing that you're a mom of 3 of different ages, and now knowing that you're going to have more time to kind of do that, and then also like reinvesting yourself into Indie Maven. Is that something that you feel like you have had or can work back towards, or is it like balance doesn't exist, it's a priority thing?
Yeah, it definitely, the parenting thing played a role in this decision.
Okay, for sure.
A lot of things did. Number one, when we signed the lease in October, things looked very different politically, economically, right? A lot has changed. But also things within my family. My kids are very different than they were then.
Sure.
And I don't know if this will happen to you or has happened to you, but there's this moment, I think, where a lot of parents have where they go from like, they think they're parenting, but you're not. You're just like keeping the tiny person alive. And then all of a sudden you're parenting, which is very different. And I have just had the realization like, oh, you need so much more from me in such a different way now. And that played a role in like, I'm signing up for this 10-year lease. And, you know, again, wasn't going to work out in that space. Could have gone and done it somewhere else.
Sure.
But I'm like, but what am I sacrificing? So, and I do think I would have been sacrificing. So now I know, because I've done it before, how to at least manage one business and my family. 2 businesses is a lot.
That is a lot.
You know, unless you're like making millions and have the budget and the support system from that standpoint. But right now, one family, one business.
Family, one business
is good.
That's it.
That's all.
I really appreciate you sharing that. That is, honestly, I feel like I'm in the transitory period between keeping alive and parenting. Like, oh, the awareness is coming. He's started daycare now, so it's like he's like learning stuff. It's like, hey, toddler time, putting bricks and colors together. I'm like, oh, he like knows things.
Yeah.
Like, and now I have to really be mindful of what I'm saying and my actions, and also like what we're doing when we're together, like the activity. And I haven't really, in the past year, haven't really felt like I've thought about that. It's just been like, hey, we're, laughing.
Exactly. And then one day they come home and someone was mean to them and they want to know questions to answers that you don't, they want answers to questions that you don't have. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, we are in the big leagues now.
Okay. Yes. I feel like should be in little leagues, but now I'm feeling like we are definitely in the big league zone.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
Is there for you a crossover between parenting and journalism? Do you think there's one thing that you can tap into that helps you do the other, and vice versa?
Being a good listener.
Ooh, that's a good one. Great one.
Yeah. I mean, you need that skill as a journalist and you need that skill as a parent. And both are hard.
Sure.
Especially for someone who likes to talk, because I always want to interrupt and say my thing and speak my piece.
That's why I do the show.
Yeah, exactly. So that is it's an art.
Yeah.
In both cases.
Biggest difference in the listening to as a reporter, as a journalist, and listening as a parent?
Well, you think as a parent that you don't need to listen because you think you're in charge and you're older and smarter and better.
So you're just hearing.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Whereas like typically in journalism, you're talking to somebody who is also an adult and we hope can behave as adults should and do. So that perspective, the shift change of I'm going to hear and listen to my kids like they are an adult and take them seriously and not dismiss them, has actually kind of changed the way I think. I think I'm more successful as a parent when I am able to tap into that, which is not all the time.
For sure. I resonate with that deeply, and my child can't speak yet. So
yeah, but also still wants to be heard, right?
Yes.
Even if we can't speak, he's like, I have things to tell you and I need you to see me and know what I want, even if I don't have the words. In fact, definitely when I don't have the words, that's your job, right? To figure out what this kid wants.
Yeah, that has been, I feel like the most difficult part is deciphering some of those things. My wife, shout out to my wife, is great at it. And I'm feeling like, what? But we're trying. We're trying over here. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you sharing. I realize 15 minutes is not a lot of time to be able to get into something like this, but I appreciate this idea of closing out loud and doing and modeling for folks, women specifically, that our patriarchal society does not have to be the way that things go, and that you can take control of what you control and can do it and model that. And I really appreciate you letting us utilize our platform to amplify that message.
Thanks.
Before I let you go, I have a couple more questions. Ask every guest on the show, whether tiny or massively large connection to Indianapolis. But for you, what does Indianapolis mean, or how do you define Indianapolis, particularly in this period of transition?
Someone else used this word, and I don't remember who, and I wish I could because I would give them credit. And I don't love the word, but they called it sticky. And Indianapolis, I think, is sticky. I was never going to stay here.
Okay.
I just was like coming through to finish school, be on my way. I don't know where that was going to be. I'm not from here originally, and it just sort of like stuck. And I see that happen. And you hear that from a lot of people, especially who are transplants here. You think you're going to leave, and then the next thing you know, I've been here 15. No, I've not. I've been here 20 years. See, I'm bad with the math and the numbers and the timelines. But yeah, I think it's sticky. It keeps you around because there's definitely things that I'm like, that I don't love and I want to see change. But I also think that I know firsthand, and I have experienced that it is the type of city that you can make change, and it's the right size to make change and make a difference. And I wish more people recognize that and that they have more power, because I think that we could see change on a larger level than we do. But I think the downfall is there's also this like Hoosier sort of Midwestern, I don't make a difference, my voice doesn't matter, kind of humility, I'm humble, instead of doing things out loud.
Right.
And so I hope we see that change.
That can be the wrong kind of stickiness. Like the stuck in a...
There's also that.
Yeah, stuck in the mindset of like, we can't do. But I love, that's one of the most unique definitions, I think, answers that we've ever got to that question. The stickiness. And I love the way you described it, because it didn't make it feel like an ick. It made it feel like, oh, these things keep me around. And even if it's the bad things, it's like, because you feel like you've at least seen where you can affect change or change be affected here. And it's inspired you to want to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
I think that's what you do with Indie Maven, and what you have done with Maven Space is affected that change. We just had Lativa Woolfork and Scarlett K. Mathis on the show. They shouted out Maven Space specifically because like that was a huge like incubative area for them to grow their business.
Yeah.
And like that is you just in the 3 years of Maven Space, but all the time you've done Indie Maven, like if no one has told you this, which they all probably have, like you've clearly affected people on like a deep level. And so where you did never do anything again but parent, you've already affected that change in your 15 to 20 years here.
Thank you. And I mean, they've given so much back too.
Yeah.
I've gotten so much out of that. And they're just one example. Starla and Lativa have just been amazing collaborators and friends and colleagues and peers and kind of all the things.
Yeah. That energy is infectious.
Yeah.
That's that. They got sticky energy.
They do.
In the best way.
They do. They will not like me saying that. They do.
All right, Leslie, thank you so much for coming through. Before we let you go, for everybody watching, listening out there, what's the best way for us to follow, find, and support you going forward?
At Indie Maven on social, and I'm Lesalina on Instagram. And to sign up for the newsletter, we have a weekly free newsletter that comes out every Thursday. And then Indie Maven also has a membership program. So we do fun monthly meetups and events that will continue on. We just established a really great collaboration with the Propoleum, the Indianapolis Propoleum. So we're going to be doing some events and weekly workday fun days there as well. So it's another perfect, again, collaboration that came out of this that I'm really excited about.
I love it. Leslie Bailey of Indie Maven and Maven Space, thank you so much for being here. We're going to link all of those things in the show notes, the newsletter, where to connect with you at, and the email if you want to go to that event and help them build this new position so we can keep sharing these stories. For everybody else, make sure that you go to conversationpiecepod.com for all of your conversation piece needs. Shout out to Life in Indie for sponsoring this series. And until next time, I've been Patrick Armstrong, and this has been Conversation Piece, the open door. We'll see y'all soon.